What up, Dokkanners? Today we're going to be going through some of the best teams to run with the new AGL God Goku. Congratulations, or my condolences, on your summons. Maybe you got the unit, maybe you didn't, maybe you got them off of the free tickets, whatever the case may be. You might just want to know what are some of the best teams to run with the unit. So we're going to be going over my takes on this subject in the video. It is opinion based, so if you have any differing opinions on best teams or any underrated combinations that I didn't really point out in the video, feel free to chime in down below. Since this is going to be a pretty general video, I can't possibly account for every single combination, so definitely contribute down below because you could be helping someone else who is in a similar situation to you. Before we jump in, I want to go over a few things here real quick. First of all, shout out to Dokkan Stats for the team builder user interface on the website. Shout out to Dokkan Database.com for two very useful features. The first being the 200% plus leader indicator. Not only do you get to see which characters fit as 200% leads for the God Goku, but then you also see the nature in which you're getting those leader skills. You can tell if a unit is getting a 200% plus buff, it's not just the health, like something down here. You will see exactly what it is. And then the other feature that I really like about this website is next to the leader skill button or leader skill line, there's a button called lead buffs. This is such an underrated useful thing because this will now show you all of the different units that fit within the different combinations of leader skills. Since there are 3 primaries and 3 secondary leader skills, the amount of combinations that can come from this, that is 12. You have 12 different combinations. 3 for Realm of Gods, 3 for Miraculous Awakening, 3 for Power of Wishes, and then just 3 themselves without any additional cross section. So all of these are now laid out in front of you, removing the need to do this painstakingly tedious process in your game, which I really like. And it's because of this that I was able to more easily put together some teams for this video. So big shout out to Dokkan Database. Now let's quickly talk about what the AGL God Goku can do. And I want to start by saying I kind of goofed in terms of interpreting this unit's passive. And it's thanks to you guys in a previous video that I picked up on it. In my defense, there is a little bit of syntax error in the unit's information being displayed. So basically this unit is very much a dodge or die build. Someone that is meant to lead the rotations with a 80% plus dodge chance in the slot 1. 80% is the max that you can get before attacking initially if all conditions are met. But the great thing about this character is that you have a revive skill that is instantly usable as long as the conditions are met. One is sort of strict and one is pretty flexible. Have a full Realm of Gods rotation or get KO'd if there are 6 or more Pure Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyans category allies on the team. 6 and not 7 means that you can still bring one more unit that does not fit Pure Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyans, and you can still get this part of the passive going. Having the ability to revive on the very first turn can give you essentially a grace period, allowing you to circumvent some of those challenge events out there where you find doom and gloom hitting you right away on the first turn. Bio Broly, Cell Max, other examples where Rose and Zamasu on the special battle, characters who just hit you with ridiculous damage on the first turn and you just can't handle it. This gets you a way out of it without having to waste an item, which can be used to your advantage if you have certain characters that you otherwise might not want to bring, certain bum characters, if you will. Let them stack a couple of times. Even if they get you killed, you will revive thanks to this part of the passive. Post revival. So here is the discrepancy. I originally said he had guaranteed dodge moving forward. That is not correct. He will have guaranteed dodge before attacking on the first turn post revival. This right here is not displayed, in my opinion, in the best way. They should be putting this !1 marker on this line of the passive. While it does, technically say within the next character's attacking turn, there is some level of ambiguity with this phrase. That is why symbols like this remove any potential ambiguity and it makes it absolute. This, in my opinion, should have been right here. He will get 20% extra dodge within the character's next attacking turn, which is going to happen anyway, because when you revive, the turn changes and goes to the next turn. So this wasn't even necessarily required. So I just think that this whole line sucks. But anyway, you will have guaranteed dodge 1 turn before attacking. This part of the passive will remain. You will get an additional 30% chance to dodge when attacking, starting from the character's next attacking turn. So when you come off of the revival on the follow-up, you will get all of this. This will remain. Meaning, after that first turn post-revival, after the 100% dodge wears off, you will default back to 80% chance to dodge before attacking, and then post attacking, you will default to 50% chance to dodge. So my mistake, my apologies. I had that a bit mixed up in previous videos, but hopefully you're watching this one, and hopefully you watch the showcase video, because I will be going over this stuff there as well. But that does remove some of the consistency that we originally had. But that's also why running this unit on a Realm of Gods type team is going to most of the time be the best way to handle it, because you'll have some dodge support, you'll have other ways to get around potentially lethal situations. So this unit is good, this unit is useful, but it's not a must-have. And you know, the guaranteed dodge thing, while it is only limited to 1 turn, when you combine that with physical UI, AGL MUI, Int Super Easy UI Goku, you have various instances of guaranteed dodge, and all of these will add up to give your team a little bit more longevity on some of the scarier events moving forward. This unit, because of the high levels of dodge, can withstand the test of time to an extent. So anyway, I just wanted to go in a little bit of a rant about this. My mistake, my apologies. But because of that, he's a slot 1 who can then shift into the slot 2 or even the slot 3, depending on what you need. He doesn't have to be in the same position. That's what he does. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into some of the best teams we can run. Let me go over here and let's do this. All right, starting with the best team that you could run with double God Goku on the team. This is what I think is the best. So you would have both God Gokus mostly on the main rotations. You've got a UI Goku that can also provide consistent dodging or tanking, plus good synergy on both versions. Obviously the UI Goku provides more, but because of the high dodge capabilities that this God Goku possesses, you could maybe conserve the guaranteed dodge for a different point. Or you can utilize the first turn's 14% extra dodge to give the unit 94% chance to dodge in the slot 1, or whatever you want. The team here consists of a lot of damage, a lot of support, and a lot of multi-slot functionality. If you want, you could move both of the God Gokus into the slot 3 and have the blue Goku helm the rotations with some defense buffing, further supplementing this guy's offensive capabilities by giving him some defense. Or you could have this guy be your team stacker by providing, you know, consistent ultra supers every single turn. This guy will probably be the only one that remains in the slot 3. But I also want to point out a very underrated combination between these two units. Assuming the revive condition is in play, this guy just got an extra layer of quote-unquote immortality, if you will. This guy, to begin with, is a very difficult unit to take out because he has the survive KO ability. He has the ability to gain 80% chance to dodge on a dime. So let's just say, for instance, we are in a situation where there's no attack in slot 1, there's no attack in slot 2, there are 3 cataclysmic supers happening in slot 3. You leave this guy in slot 3 on a rotation with God Goku. Yeah, the synergy's not there, but we don't care about that. So he eats the first super and he takes he almost dies, but he survives the KO attack with 1 health. Now his 80% dodge has activated. The second super, he dodges it, but the third super, your luck runs out. I know some of y'all have been there, but the thing is, if that luck were to run out under a normal situation, you'd lose. However, with this now added layer of security, if that were to happen, you would get a revive instantly thanks to this God Goku. So I think that this is a very underrated combo that doesn't necessarily provide the most synergy in terms of links, but just their presence can help a rotation substantially in terms of surviving some of those like insane, stupid situations. So I just wanted to point that out. But here, I just think everyone fits on every rotation. There's a lot of damage, there's a lot of support. And what more do you need? In terms of alternates, there are a couple of units here that are sort of like representatives of a larger quantity of units. The UI stands for any other UI character. In fact, Tech UI, I think, actually gets a bit of a bump in terms of functionality on this team. Because of that turn 1 revival, it does give the UI Goku a little bit more consistency. And he can be useful because with his guaranteed dodge, sort of like what I was talking about earlier, guaranteed dodge from you, guaranteed dodge from you, guaranteed dodge from you, plus the domain enhances this guy's damage. The domain provides team dodge on the first turn when he uses it, which will give this guy extra dodge both before attacking and afterwards. So all of that can actually help. I hate to admit it because I kind of hate this guy right now, but he actually is sort of back. The Beerus unit applies for all Beerus and Beerus adjacent characters. The new Int Beerus obviously would work. Champa would work. Any Vados or Whis character, any of those units, they would all work because they would support Realm of Gods. At the moment, we still don't know what the Whis Easy A or the LRB Wii Super Easy A can do. But assuming the STR Whis is going to have some sort of guaranteed dodge, that would probably be another great unit to throw on this team just to give more floaters, more dodging all over the place. God Vegeta, just want to shout out the God Vegeta. He works on a team besides crossover to a lesser extent, which is Realm of Gods. He can be a reliable slot 3 damager with a little bit more vulnerability, but because of that grace period that you get with that God Goku revive, you can get away with bringing some weirdos. Speaking of weirdos, yes, Gogeta. Allow me to explain. I am not sitting here trying to say that Gogeta is the meta pick. This is more of just a for instance, just to point out that you now have a little bit more wiggle room. If you were to bring out this guy, what's he gonna do? He's probably gonna die, right? On the first turn that he shows up, you still have the revive in place. This dummy decides to launch a super attack, raise that defense permanently, and then he gets you killed. You get the revive, he then floats off for 3 turns. He then comes back on the 4th turn and he transforms into Gogeta Blue. Gogeta Blue has a 70% chance to dodge. At that point, maybe you just get through the turn from sheer dumb luck. Maybe there's a UI domain or something like that. Whatever the case may be, you can survive that turn. If he were to come back again, he would then have a target focus ability with a guaranteed dodge that can also take away from any risk that this God Goku may possess post revival. Maybe after you exhaust all of your options with the UI here, this guy can bail you out with that. So the point of me saying this is to basically say that if there's a character that you were otherwise very dismissive about bringing because they just get you killed right away, this unit opens the door for some units to actually shine a bit more. The LR Tech Gods, post turn 1, are pretty vulnerable unless they transform. But now, with the option to stack a second time with only guard to protect, if you are willing to sack the rotation but still get some net positives out of it, it could be beneficial in the long run. That can be a strategy that people use on certain events. And then I also threw in the STR Spirit Bomb GT because even off the main leader skill, just at the 170%, this guy is still going to be very productive. And if a revival were to take place besides the God Goku still benefits from that ability where he gets the extra stats and he gets the extra dodge for 1 turn or whatever. It will just, you'll have to keep track of where they are placed when the revive takes place. But I think that this guy would still be fantastic. So this is the best team overall running double God Goku, in my opinion. Other options are definitely there, like I'm mentioning Super Saiyan 3 to Super Saiyan 4, multi-turn support. Similar sort of situation. The Super Saiyan 4 Goku needs to get the ball rolling early, but he's kind of vulnerable. So if you're willing to sack that rotation while still getting some hits in, it could be useful for the long run. Moving on to the next squad. And dude, this is supporterific. We got double Super Saiyan 4 STR Daima, and so this is basically just Giant Ape power with featuring Realm of Gods guest stars. That's it. You don't even have to have God Goku or UI Goku here. This guy can just fit. And instead of using him as a typical damager or a defender, he can just be sort of your insurance policy floating around as just a revive. And you can have all the action pretty much just be relegated to the Super Saiyan 4s. Any which way you set this up, it works. And you've got insane attack support with both of these guys. You've got great defensive support with him, on top of which you've got team stacking with the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. This guy, depending on the event, you could either, you know, go short form with a more aggressive unit, or long form, or use any one of the substitutions. Bring back the Turtle School, you know, TIE Fighters Goku for that great 1-2 punch invincibility combo. And this is basically as good as the first team that I mentioned. The first team is the best, what I think what you could run with double God Goku as the lead, but honestly, this would probably be a much better setup just because there's much more damage potential here, and there's a lot more just brute force. Like, he does not even need to be used as a damager. And I think that could ultimately circumvent his dodge issues. He'll have guaranteed dodge post revival only 1 time before attacking, but if you just keep him as a floater and you use his revive sort of as a floating item, that might be ultimately the best thing to make other teams more itemless, I guess. So alternates would just be anyone that would fit on a typical Super Saiyan 4 Daima team. You got Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, you want some orb changing with the Hachiyak Goku. You got Blue Goku for some defense, team stacking overall. He can also be damaged in slot 3. Invincibility combo with the Goku, Daima Mini Super Saiyan 4. I'm just throwing in Beast Gohan just sort of as a way to understand that if you've got a revive, and you know that the revive is going to happen, and let's just say you put, you know, Beast Gohan right here, you have him use his target focus effect. He redirects all the attacks to himself, knowing full well he's probably going to die after the 4th or 5th hit. Whatever, nobody else will have taken any damage. Maybe you can, you know, get a little bit extra damage in or something, you know, whatever the situation may be, you can maybe do something like that with a target focus. I do realize if you're going to die anyway, you might as well not waste it. But if there's some very specific situation where you can utilize something like that, it could be good. Maybe before all of those hits even reach Beast Gohan, your slot 1 and slot 2 can go nuts doing some crazy damage, and then you're safe. You're all good to go. So I really like this team as well. Some would say this is even better. But if you have all these guys, you probably won't even need the God Goku. Moving on to the next one. Probably the most natural fit for the God Goku, and is Realm of Gods. Double physical LR UI Goku, which means starting dodge is going to be even better than before, depending on the placement of all the units. If you actually have both UIs on the first turn, same rotation with the God Goku, everybody on the rotation has guaranteed dodge, because this guy would have 80% before attacking, plus 14 and 14, that's 28%. That'd be 100% dodge before attacking. He would lose 60% of it afterwards, but that would give much more. But the point here is that your rotations are led with high damage, high dodging, high defense. This guy can be a rotation based unit, or he can float off. You've got defense boosting, you've got supporting, stat support, you've got domain, and you've got a little bit of a grace period with the revive, and you've got extra support. It's pretty self-explanatory. I don't really have much else to say about this. It's just Realm of Gods. Throw in any Realm of Gods you want. As long as you've got double UI, you've got a pretty competitive team, because your slot 1 situations are taken care of. Wherever you need to throw him, you can throw him. This guy will give you more consistency on those rotations in terms of survivability. Let's just say your doomsday scenario is happening in slot 3. You might have to move this guy into the slot 1. You have the luxury of knowing this guy will get you out of a bind potentially in slot 3, but now this guy can actually take care of the slot 1 responsibilities as long as you're lucky enough to get those dodges. Alternates would just be any other Realm of Gods. Any of the Beerus characters, any of the Beerus adjacents, Champa, Whis, Biwi, LR Gods, Resurrection F Blues, LR Vegeta, MUI Goku. MUI Goku has a degree of guaranteed dodge. He also has a revive. If you've got multiple characters that are revive ready, that could be useful. Thing about that though is that you have to enter a turn under a certain amount of health. And then after he gets his revive, he gets the guaranteed dodge. But then after that, he's kind of dead weight. Not dead weight. If you're unlucky, he's dead weight. Any other Realm of Gods will do just fine. Aneen, shout out Aneen, World Tournament unit. Not the greatest, but I want to always mention this unit because she has some pretty decent support. Key +1, 60% attack and defense, and she's actually got some nice durability for a random World Tournament free-to-play. Aneen, shout out my girl. Moving our way through the list of the best teams, we went through the Diamond Super Saiyan 4, we checked out God Goku, UI Goku, now we're checking out the Int Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta team, and it's pretty similar to what we saw before. Like I said, there's a lot of overlap. These are the best teams in the game, and we're throwing in the God Goku at the expense of some of the other best units in the game. But this is a solid team. Double team stacking, extra attack support, invincibility sort of with the revive counter here, the revive here, your insane tanking and standby finisher capabilities with this guy, team defense with Super Saiyan 4. This is a very well-balanced team in pretty much every sense. You've got a ton of damage, you got a ton of defense, you got a ton of everything. This guy doesn't even have to be on the main rotations. So characters like this at 55%, you would find them more useful and impactful on teams like this. I don't really talk about hidden potential percentages in these videos because I try not to let that influence like the core premise of the team. But when you have to bench or keep these characters in the flex spot, in the floater spot, it's generally a more effective strategy to keep your stronger units on the main rotation. That's what this guy can do for you in the slot 3. He is just going to be a revive. If he's not durable enough to handle an attack and he gets you killed, well, he'll revive and make up for it. So this is a great setup for God Goku as well on the Power of Wishes. These two actually have some overlap in terms of their leader skill abilities. This guy leads Power of Wishes, All Out Struggle, Earthbred Fighters, Shiny Power. The Earthbred Fighters and Power of Wishes is pretty close to this, Power of Wishes and Bond of Friendship. So there's a lot of Gokus that can work here. And whenever I do no new units teams, it's based on characters that have come back as coinable, purchasable characters. I won't be able to use this right now, but if you don't have the God Goku, but you want to run the God Goku as a friend lead, this guy would be a fantastic replacement as your primary lead. Replacements would include, that is the wrong team. What the heck? Sorry about that. Replacements, any of the GT heroes. I wanted to point out something about this STR pan. Units that can scout Just want to remind the cool strategy behind scouting a rotation, knowing full well where the super attacks are going to be, combining that with maybe a Ghost Usher or a character that has a revive or a guaranteed dodge. So if you know where an attack is coming, you could throw this guy to intercept. You could throw this guy to just get killed or dodge it, whatever, and it can help you get out of whatever the situation may be. So that's why I wanted to point out this STR pan. Any other unit that can give you stacking or scouting can be very useful in that regard. Once again, the Kai Fighter's Goku, we could throw in the blue Goku for some more defensive support, but I think in terms of, you know, helping the entire team, we're good. Attack, defense, attack, attack, attack. We're good. We are more than okay in terms of support. We cook it. I'm not going to be able to cover every single 220+% leader skill here, but I'm going to show what a good team is with the Tech Super Saiyan Goku. With a more old-fashioned team, we're kind of going for a more old-fashioned approach. With the stackers needing some time to cook and get stronger, they would need protection in the slot 1 by being slot 2s. So you want to surround the team with adequate slot 1 support. The God Goku can do that to an extent, unless you're very unlucky like me. If not, depending on which other characters you have, then you could probably put them in the slot 1. I've moved these guys into the slot 3 spot just to say that if you have a lot of these units, you're probably not running this team. But whatever you got to protect your rotations, that would work. Majin Vegeta works, although without many extreme characters on the team, it's going to be harder for him to tank. So depending on the turn that you're doing this, you could actually switch this guy into the slot 2 and have your Vegito become the slot 1 by switching to the Vegeta side. Other, you know, units that you could include would be someone like the blue Goku. You could bring in Beast Gohan for this. Ultimate Gohan, Beast Gohan, great hybrid Saiyan combination to throw in here. So let's actually, yeah, let's bring these in here. Let's do that. Let's get rid of you. Let's get rid of you. You could bring in some slot 3 support. I showed that Kid Goku there, not mainly because he's like the best option, but more so because he can provide team damage reduction, which can also amplify the God Goku's tanking abilities. Ultimately, the point of this video is to bring the most out of the God Goku, right? Not necessarily everybody else. So that's why I wanted to just point out supports like that. Where the heck is Beast going? Am I blind again? Oh no, I gotta be blind. Yeah, I missed it. There it is. And then we do physical Ultimate Gohan right there. Okay, so we could do something more like this where these guys sort of chill in the slot 3. You don't really worry so much about the even stacking and whatnot. You just have everybody else do the cooking. Obviously things are scaling much lower here, but you would do maybe something like this. Have these guys do their thing. Once he kind of uses all of his options, move him out, put the Vegeta slot 1, or have one of these guys transform. There's a little bit of a flow to this team in terms of balance and even distribution. You might find this to be a more appropriate team for a long form fight, but I just wanted to provide a best team option for one of the older older unit leaders. Oof. Older unit leaders. Man, I got problems. So what is it? Alternates. Along with these, you could throw in Gogeta for some support, even more stacking, or anybody else that is a pure Saiyan fused fighter or earth protecting hero. Now we get to no new units. In these parts of the videos, I go over teams at the time of recording that would work under my no new units policy, which is any unit that is purchasable with coins. So as of right now, 11th anniversary units are not purchasable with coins. Of course, if you have newer characters, by all means, throw them onto these teams, but I want to go ahead and just show these sorts of builds anyway. So we are running Daima Mini Super Saiyan 4 as our main lead with the God Goku as the friend lead, and it's basically just a collection of Realm of Gods characters featuring some Giant Ape power. So depending on which units you got, you could either throw in the Super Saiyan 4 STR LR Adult Daima and then have a Giant Ape power rotation, have this guy float. Or you can have this guy accompanying the first turn guaranteed dodge MUI. Then when this guy transforms into his MUI, he can lead the rotation. When this guy ultimately transforms into his MUI, he can lead the rotation, providing the extra team synergy and damage output and team dodge with his domain. This guy provides multi-turn support. He also links very well with the Giant Ape power units on the teams. Also, if you have to resort to that revive, if you have to sack a particular rotation so that a unit could get the ball rolling with their, getting hit or stacking a bunch, that could work. Things on this team are pretty much what you would expect from a high synergy team, but they're scaled down a little bit. The damage output is not going to be as prolific on this team because you're lacking the muscle, but it's still a well-balanced machine and it can work. And then whatever other, Realm of Gods or Giant Ape power units that can fit Pure Saiyans, what is it, Miraculous Awakening, Legendary Existence, Bond of Friendship, Bond of Parent and Child, that sort of thing, you can get it. Basically all the Gokus will work. And finally, the last team in this video, the Realm of Gods team. This is a pretty straightforward build. It's just running a pure Saiyan's Realm of Gods. You could have this guy lead. If you've got the physical LRUI Goku, throw that on the leader skill slot instead, and then just run a Realm of Gods God Goku friend lead. And then it's just all the Realm of Gods units. Whatever you got, throw them on the team. You've got nice dodging all around. You've got nice damage all the way around. You've got some defense. You have the grace period of that 1-turn revive. If you need to, you could have this guy supplement the rotations with that defense. A lot of great things here. I will probably find myself using this team or something like this a lot for no new units runs featuring the God Goku. And that's the gambit. That's pretty much all I got for you in terms of best teams with the God Goku. Like I said, he is a nice piece to a team, to some of the teams that just don't need him. So he will give you more flexibility, more options, but he's not necessary. So I feel like more people are going to be running him as a friend lead. And when he comes back, I think he will still be as effective. High dodge units are not going to change in value unless there comes a time where events will start actually reducing percentages of dodge. If that's the case, we have a different conversation to go through, but otherwise this guy will be back, and at that point people will probably have more fun. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like down below, let in the comments your thoughts on the God Goku unit overall, how this unit fits on your teams. What are some team combinations that you want to point out that I didn't mention in this video? Did I get anything wrong? Feel free to share in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more dope content in the future and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know you want to see more stuff. Do it. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned, and always remember to Dokkan responsibly. The Lakers are going to get swept.